Welcome to The View from Here, number 14, recorded on September 7, 2017. This is the first episode taken in this room in the basement of the Keene Public Library, which is now the temporary home of Cheshire TV. I want to share with you, first of all, a recent highlight in my life, namely the view from my bedroom window, which has changed amazingly in 1 year. It's just an example of magic moments that I think all of us can have in our life if we are wide awake and notice them. And I would say I get one of these magic moments at least once a week. So what happened here in my backyard, seen from my apartment, autumn leaf, which is just behind McDonald's. I am lucky, I'm looking out, here comes the photo. I'm looking out on woods and a field that you can see on that picture. And here's what happened there. What is now covered by green 1 year ago was complete bare ground with stumps and a lot of debris from tree removal. There was a tree that was threatened, a dead tree that had to be taken out. It was a danger to the building. So I've watched that area from my bedroom window last summer after this happened, through the spring and beginning of this summer. Of course, it began to be covered with green. And then soon a particular vine, I do not know the name, kind of started taking over and covering the whole area with kind of waves of green, as you can see. But a week ago came this surprise, and you can see it if you look carefully here. On top of this cover of green that had so carefully covered up all the things that were not so pleasant to look at, there was suddenly a whole cover of millions of these tiny little white flowers. This whole cover is in bloom, as you can see, and under certain conditions of the light, or if there are water drops on it from rain or dew, it brings out this white cover. And it is absolute magic from my bedroom window, what I see there now. So it's just an example that little things like that can be really fun to light up your day. All right. Now, let me start with saying that Mother Nature is an amazing artist. Now, soon we'll go to photo number 2, which is a close-up of Michael Blastos. Michael E.J. Blastos, former Keene City Mayor, who died 4 years ago in August 2013. This photo was taken by Michael Moore from the Sentinel. And now, what I will go to next soon is something very interesting about Blastos that I wanted to bring out today. The city of Keene paid tribute to Blastos as recorded in this Sentinel article of June 11, 2017. That is going to the second camera here. And that one was done in June of this year. The room that we have in our city building on Marlborough Street, right next to the ice arena, there are windows in there that you can look at the ice, has been dedicated to Michael E.J. Blastos in his honor. And I will read you a few remarks about Blastos from that article in the Sentinel. There are murals in that community room, and what you're looking at in the Sentinel is one done by the Waldorf School in Keene and the Waldorf High School, either one, the Waldorf School or the Waldorf High School. And that was of interest to me. And you can see that there's a nicely colored mural there. I've been a teacher in Waldorf schools for more than 30 years, so that's why that was of special interest to me, that the school was honored in having this mural shown. But this is more about Blastos. Blastos died in August 2013. He served in public office for more than 24 years. He retired at the end of 2007 after 8 years as mayor. That was Keene's first 4-term mayor in more than 100 years. He was also a businessman. He operated the pub restaurant in the city for more than 40 years. And so that was honoring Blastos in our city building. And now, next, we want to look at what Blastos has done 4 years ago, just a week before he died. It's interesting that this temporary room we're in here was the place where on August 5th, 2013, in the corner behind me, that corner which you can see there, we had a group of citizens from the area lined up, and a video was taken by videographer David Tubner of Keene. And that video well, I want to try to express why I am honoring Blastos this way, because that's an amazing coincidence of a number of things that happened there. Blastos was very much questioning the official story of 9/11 as regarding the World Trade Center collapse. And he tried to convince a lot of people in the area around it, but there's, among many people, a deep reluctance to look there because, well, the truth will set you free, but at first it'll make you mighty uncomfortable. And many people just reject to even look or listen to anything about 9/11 that makes them uncomfortable. Mayor Blastos was not one of those because he thought this was very important. And what I find so amazing is in this video that's soon coming up, you will see a number of people, and there is Mayor Blastos, former Mayor Blastos, one of them, speaking as an almost 81-year-old at that time with real force and persuasion, because he knew that what he was bringing needed to be heard. He wasn't heard at that time. I'm hoping that those of you listening to this today will try to hear him, because I feel that would be a way in which he also would want to be honored. He did not want to be ignored on this issue. And so we are honoring Mayor Blastos, we are honoring the victims of 9/11, and we will move right now to this video, 7-minute video that was taken 4 years ago in this room, 1 week before Mayor Blastos actually passed away. So let's start that video now. I am Gerhard Bedding, a science writer and teacher. We are all US citizens from the state of New Hampshire supporting a rethinking of 9/11. We'll be using some abbreviations in some of our talks. Did you know that former New Hampshire Governor Walter Peterson, a Republican, studied the facts of 9/11 in 2009? He came to this conclusion. And he voted in his town of Peterborough for a new investigation in the spring of 2010.
I am Barbara Hull Richardson. I served for 18 years as a representative in the New Hampshire State Legislature. My town, Richmond, voted in 2010 at a town meeting to ask Congress to pursue a new independent 9/11 investigation. It's time, high time, that all of us demand this to happen.
There's ample evidence of the use of controlled demolition at the World Trade Center towers. I'm Dan Bartlett, one of 2,000 architects and engineers who are calling for a new, comprehensive, and honest investigation into the events of 9/11.
I'm James Smart. I'm History Professor Emeritus at Keene State College and a veteran of the United States Army. Did you know that a third tower, Building 7, came down in 6.5 seconds that very same day? The official explanation by NIST is that it came down by office fires. It could not have fallen at free fall speed because the resistance would have prevented it.
And the Paul Harvey on that story is that NIST admitted that Building 7 was in free fall speed for 2.25 seconds over 100 feet. I'm Mark Lathrop, a.k.a. Pat Riot on Empire Watch Radio. NIST, didn't you just say that was impossible? You can't have it both ways. Also, you ignored clear evidence of explosives in the World Trade Center destruction. Hundreds of eyewitness reports and video accounts of explosions on the scene at the time.
I'm Ed Trombley, owner of U-Save Auto Rental. Firefighters, please note, this standard requires that a criminal fire scene be examined for evidence of explosives. World Trade Center dust was not examined by government agencies.
But fortunately, the dust was examined by independent scientists. Did you know that a peer-reviewed study was published in 2009 by a group of scientists revealing that a high-tech explosive called nanothermite was found in all dust samples? My name is Mark Basile. I'm a chemical engineer, and I began experiments with the World Trade Center dust in 2008. I found the red-gray chips referred to in that study. I witnessed low-temperature ignition of red-gray chips at 450 degrees C, resulting in molten iron droplets. This means that a temperature had been reached in excess of 1,500 degrees C, and I conclude that the red layer in the dust particles is a nanothermitic material. Nanothermite in the dust should be a wake-up call to all of us. It doesn't belong there.
Mike Blastos, former mayor of the city of Keene, New Hampshire, and restaurateur. And did you know the Twin Towers and their contents were almost completely pulverized as they came down? No crushed human bodies or furniture were ever found in the debris. And the dust was spread inches thick over a large area, and human bone splinters were found on the roof of a nearby bank. Think about that.
I am John Wyndham, physicist. When the Twin Towers came down, massive steel columns were broken into pieces weighing many tons. These pieces were ejected horizontally outward at high speeds, landing hundreds of feet from the buildings. Since gravitational forces work downwards, the only reasonable explanations for these ejections is the use of high-powered explosives.
My name is Jeffrey Scott, Vietnam veteran. The Gulf of Tonkin was a lie used to drag us into a war in Vietnam. 9/11, weapons of mass destruction, or WMDs, were more lies used to drag us into 2 more wars that we are presently fighting. We need to stop accepting lies and start demanding the truth from our government. And yes, I am mad.
My name is Johanna Laurie. I'm a concerned grandmother. America needs to know the truth about 9/11. What's at stake is the survival of our democratic institutions and our personal freedoms. Granny D, who at age 90 walked across the country in support of clean elections, didn't believe the official 9/11 story. And in 2009, she signed a petition calling for a new investigation. She reminded us that democracy is not something we have, it's something we do. For the sake of our children and our grandchildren, we need to have a new 9/11 investigation.
I hope you will be using these websites for your further research. Yes, it is time to rethink 9/11. This issue will not go away. The whole war on terror and the out-of-control security state, which spies on us all, are based on false premises. If we believe in this flag, then all of us here and across the country together can build a better future. Let's go for it. So, that was done 4 years ago, but it is as much relevant now as it was then. Let your congressperson and senators know that you want a new investigation. It's a perfectly reasonable request because of the questions overhanging this. Well, let's go to the next photo, number 3. It's a bit more of a kind of a footnote to the previous. This was taken, a friend of mine is a landscaper, and we used his trailer in the Swansea parade of 2012, I think this was. We've been in a number of Swansea parades with the 9/11 Truth movement. And as you can see, here is Mayor Blastos as well as former Governor Peterson shown on there, and some interesting other things about 9/11. We were present there 2 years before that, 2 or 3 years before this particular parade. Mayor Blastos was present in the parade. Peter Allen, New Hampshire State Representative, walked with us. And Mayor Blastos was driving his yellow Oldsmobile convertible that many, many people in Keene know. So he was in the Swansea parade to make visible his support of 9/11 truth. And yes, it can be found. We need to find it. We need to pursue it. And enough about that for the moment. So, now we're going to end on a lighter note. Some time ago, going through some pictures at home, I happened to come across a photo of my 2 children taken in 1960. Why don't we go to that photo right now? And I kind of smiled seeing it. The one is maybe between a year and 2 years old. The other one is between 3 and 4, I think. And they fit in this box, which has a title on it, Pride Quality Eggs. So I thought it was a humorous thing that I well remember. Of course, these 2 children are now 61 and will be 59 in a few weeks, the younger one. But it made me think, on a lighter note, of this cartoon that appeared, I think in the Sentinel, I forget where it was, I think it was the Sentinel, sometime after Christmas. A father and his son are returning a box to department store, a large box, and it probably was some kind of highfalutin technical toy. And the subtitle tells us, the father says to the attendant at the desk there, but my son would like to keep the box. And as we all know, boxes are wonderful toys for children, and they can be made into little houses. And so I think that in itself is a comment on toys, on high-tech stuff, and on children's natural tendency to use natural materials for playing. We don't always need to give them the latest high-tech stuff. And as a matter of fact, we would be smarter in not giving it to them. Today, our program will be a little shorter than usual, but I understand that Cheshire TV has no problem with that. They have all kind of fillers that are short, that go in the in-between time. Thank you for watching today, and 2 weeks from now we will have another view number 15. I hope you will be back with us, and thank you very much.